Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Elite Eight is finally here, and we got four. Count them: 1, 2, 3, 4 available spots for the Final Four in Houston. We're starting off in the South region here. 3 seed Louisville, 1 seed Iowa. Battle of the Birds. I don't know if I like how that's starting out with the Elite Eight, but it is what it is. I don't know how paranoid you are about birds yourself, but I am your play-by-play commentator, Kamish Zalikov. But I am not alone. For the first time in this tournament, joining me for color commentary is Iowa State head coach Smith. Now, unfortunately, we do not see your Cyclones here in the Elite Eight. They did see the end of their season against the Crimson Tide of Alabama the previous round, actually. But before we get started with this one, I guess just looking back at the season that you guys had, are there any regrets that you guys have at all?
Well, I don't call them regrets because I think we had a very successful season. I think people are going to look back at the last tournament game against Alabama and partially the Big 12 championship game against Texas Tech, and I consider those anomalies to the season. We had a very strong season. We had a bunch of really good wins, and overall we had a really good season. And we made the Sweet 16, which is a accomplishment in its own right. So I wouldn't call them regrets. They were things I probably would have done differently, both in the off season and during the regular season. But no, that's still a successful season.
And I have to agree with you there. I mean, listen, I don't think anybody saw this Iowa State team splitting a Big 12 title, regardless of who it's with. Just to finish tied for first, and in that conference, which, by the way, 8 of 10 teams made this tournament. So the fact that you had nearly all of the Big 12 in March Madness just speaks for itself how competitive of a conference it was this season. And just to see, your Cyclones having made it that far with, splitting a regular season title and playing for the tournament, championship. And, making it as far as the Sweet 16, as painful as it is to have your season end, especially the way it did against Alabama, either way, you chalk it up. A loss is a loss, and that is the end of the road. But with that said, I'm sure the future is bright. We'll see how things go, and I guess my last question for you before we hop into this game is, well, what are your plans for the offseason?
We'll see. I don't want to make any commitments to anything yet. The off season is, especially in today's sports, in college sports especially, is ever changing, ever evolving. So I think it would be unwise and improper to make any commitments because you never know what's going to happen.
I absolutely do agree with that evaluation. There are always so many moving pieces, especially in the college scene, especially college hoops. I think that's where the most movement happens. With that said, here we are, the first Elite Eight matchup of the day, Louisville versus Iowa. We have seen this one before. We have. The last matchup, they had this one exactly in the same spot as before, in the Elite Eight. A couple seasons ago. This was one of the most defensive-minded battles I've seen in a while. Iowa won this one, but 62 to 58. I don't think it's going to be that low scoring again. What about you?
I mean, I don't think so. I think both of these teams are too high-powered offensively to for that to happen. But I look forward to seeing the matchup in the front court between Taylor and Bolt, especially. Those two centers are especially good for both of their teams, and I think that should be a fun matchup. And I think whoever wins that matchup individually may win the game.
Absolutely. So many great individual matchups all across the board. I think the one that's going to be most intriguing, not just down there in the paint, but also when we're talking about point guards. J.B. Avery and Henry Washington for Louisville and Iowa, respectfully, are two of the best in the entire country. That is going to be a battle on its own, as here we are at Hoff Hines Arena, or stadium, I forget the technical name, but we are here in the Elite Eight, and for whatever reason, the West Region is the home number one overall seed in this setting, so I have things to switch up after the Elite Eight. But here we go, the starting lineups. As you can see, J.B. Avery, I mean, he's the star of the show, but if you notice something, it's a Mediger versus Mediger battle. Caden versus Rocco. Didn't think I'd see that anytime soon, but here we are. Or actually, wait, no. I didn't think we'd see it again after a couple years ago. But a funny twist of events, the NBA user lockout happened, and here we are. Troy Bolt wins the tip-off, and Iowa starts on offense. Give me an X factor for both of these teams real quick.
I would say X factor. I would say Bolt. I think I think not as much offensively. I want to see how he changes the game defensively and on the board. For Iowa, and then for Louisville, I think it's Mediger. I think somebody has to challenge Bolt and DeMarcus in the paint, and I think he's that guy.
Rally Vixer gets us going with the early bucket, and these cardiac cards, I came up with that nickname with how they're playing defense. I mean, look at this. After every single bucket, they try and get the ball back like that. Rally Vixer opened up the scoring for Louisville with a nice behind the back and a floater. We'll see what they can do on this possession as Iowa comes up empty to start the game. Vixer jumper. Louisville's up early. Look at this. And just imagine having to go up against this pressure, especially like you're looking at this from, let's say you had to face them as an ACC team, another turnover. This is hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, I think being able to score consistently will be important for the Louisville team, not only to, of course, build up your score, but to be able to establish this pressure.
100%. To be able to establish that pressure and throw any offense off the rhythm is so big. You know, that's why they were able to get past all the teams that they were before. Big three right there by J.J. Woods. Iowa finally on the board after a little bit over a minute and a half of action. J.J. Woods, by the way, he was an absolute menace last game for Iowa. Chase DeMarcus gets that out of there. But Louisville with the ball still. Marcus Rhodes kicks it out. Mediger, 3-ball. No. I think he should have just taken that to the rim.
I agree.
Here's J.J. Woods, Jr. for the Hawkeyes. And Marcus, 3-ball. No. But Henry Washington got the rebound somehow and draws the foul on Cooper Taylor. So the Hawkeyes will get some free throws and have an opportunity to take the early lead back. But as I was saying, Henry Washington, this super talented point guard, he actually started out at USC as a Trojan. They didn't make the tournament in his freshman year, and he decided, you know what, I need a change of scenery. I need me a proven winner as my head coach, and he chose Iowa. Last season, he played for a national championship. Unfortunately, fell to the Sooners in one of the most ridiculous choke jobs I've ever seen in a national championship game. And they're looking for their second ring, his first. And foul does not go in. Marcus Rose drew it on Mark Mediger, excuse me. Felt like that was a bit of a travel that the refs missed. Don't know if you saw the same or not.
Yeah, I would. It kind of looked like that.
First free throw goes from Marcus Rhodes. Marcus Rhodes has been a journeyman. Graduate transfer from, I believe it's Stanford. He started out at Oregon, then he went to Texas Tech, then ended up at Stanford for a couple years, and now this is his second and final year as the Louisville Cardinals. So, yes, you heard that right. This is his 6th collegiate season. What a veteran. And Henry Washington loses the ball. Rhodes flips it up. And he draws the foul on Troy Bolt. Is that Troy Bolt's second? That better not be Troy Bolt's
No,
second.
I think Mediger got the first foul. I think that's his first.
I think so too. So Marcus Rhodes already has 2 points from the free throw line, and he will get to add on to it. And he misses the first one. Okay. Gosh, so
That'll
many.
be important. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
That'll be important for Louisville to be able to get to the free throw line, make their free throws, but also draw fouls on these Iowa players.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, this pressure by Louisville is ridiculous. Although this crisp passing by Iowa. Mediger, jumper. No, he does not get the shooter's roll on that one. Here come the Cards the other way. Wouldn't this be funny? Because I think if I'm not wrong, I don't know if Coach Deuce continues after this season. This would be so interesting if he got back to the Final Four this way. Vixer, 7 early points, 3 for 3 shooting, and Louisville doubling Iowa's score early. Bolt, another near turnover. And Coach Zelikov is looking on, thinking, hang on, this isn't us. What are we doing? And Woods will inbound to get it to Chase DeMarcus. And to Troy Bolt, what an alley! How about that for some flash from the Hawkeyes? Now, Vixer draws a foul on DeMarcus. That's Chase DeMarcus' first. Louisville doing an excellent job attacking the rim and drawing fouls. Now, I think we just remembered that this isn't only Iowa playing, but you're the Iowa State head coach, yet in your first 2 years, there has not been a Cyhawk battle. Somehow, coach, if staying for your third year meant you'd get to play against Iowa, would you do it? I gotta hear this.
Well, I think it would be interesting. Obviously, the Cyhawk battle is an important rivalry to both programs. It would be disappointing knowing it wouldn't be against Coach Zelikov, who is a good friend of mine, but it would be an interesting battle nonetheless.
I do agree for sure. I mean, listen, Cyhawk is a Cyhawk, and of course, it means more, especially when you go up against those that you know well. Oh my goodness! Highlight slam for Rocco Mediger. Iowa's still trailing, but who knows if it'll last much longer. And that's turned over. Active hands by Chase DeMarcus. Henry Washington to DeMarcus. Slam. 4 quick points for the Hawkeyes. Listen, as effective as Louisville has been at getting to the free throw line, Iowa's just as effective as getting those fast break points. They emphasize quick strike offense. Taylor, jumper, got it. Cooper Taylor, the freshman from Chicago, Illinois. And here we go again. These cardiac cards and their trapping minded defense. Mediger to Bolt, Woods, Bader, got it. So we're exchanging blows here now. Although Louisville, look at that, 80% from the field so far. It's pretty staggering. Here's JB Avery. Feed, almost turned over. Mediger, layup. He somehow weaved through that Iowa defense after recollecting the loose ball. And, oh my goodness. Rhodes, 3. Oh my word. Talk about quick strike offense. Louisville. There's Mediger. They are so relentless on defense. Woods, jumper missed, and who do they say? They say it's out on DeMarcus, so it's Louisville ball. Listen, we saw Iowa get out to a slow start versus USF last round, and then we saw how they were able to regain their confidence and their mojo and their swag. But I think Louisville's just so different, especially with how they play defense. Rhodes, Madiger, 3-ball. Oh, it's a little off. That would have shook the building if he made that one. But here we go. Henry Washington, Bolt, 3-ball, splash. Troy Bolt. This guy can do it all, and I'd be surprised if he stays for his senior year. But crazier things have happened when it comes to players deciding their futures. Rhodes, 3-ball, off. Rebounded by DeMarcus, and Iowa, they get themselves a 3. Can tie up the game. But so far, we're a little over 6 minutes in. What's your biggest assessment?
I think if Louisville's making the shots that they need to, and making some shots that not many people are expecting them to, I think they need to keep on making these shots if they want to hang with Iowa. And Iowa needs to stop messing around. And these slow starts, while they were able to overcome them in earlier tournament games, against these better teams, they're not going to be able to overcome such performances.
For sure. Troy Bolt with the floater. Iowa reclaims the lead. Got some good luck on that bounce. And Vixer draws the foul. He gets it to go in the foul. And now that's DeMarcus' second, so he's got to go sit for the rest of the half. Wow.
9 quick points for Vixer.
Yep. And in comes Michigan State transfer Marcus Diente, who, by the way, if he was still at Michigan State, he'd probably be putting up All-American numbers. That's how good he is. Vixer completes the 3-point play. And he'll get a rest, and in comes Devin Diablo, who was actually the starting shooting guard for last year's Louisville team, the one that fell to Michigan in the round of 32. And here we go. More of this pressure from Louisville. So relentless, but they'll get it over. Madiger draws the foul. No, but Cooper Taylor, I think that's a second, so Cooper Taylor now has to come out of the game. That's pretty big. Because Cooper Taylor, he really can do it all for this Louisville team. And in comes Rich Elias. So no true center on the floor now for Louisville. That could be a problem, especially now that you got to deal with Troy Bolt. Madiger, first one. Oh, that's a horrible miss. Almost halfway through this first half, and the beginning of this Elite Eight has been quite interesting and also a bit electric, honestly. Because, listen, looking at this Louisville team, I don't recognize them, especially when you see how they barely scraped by Hawaii in the first round. That's a jumper, J.B. Avery. No. Rebounded by Troy Bolt. And Iowa is running. Madiger. Let's see what these Hawkeyes can do. See Diente swing out to the corner. Jumper. No. Rebounded by Elias. And now, I think this is Marcus Rhodes to Elias from the top of the key, and Rhodes gets an absolutely free jumper. Madiger had his back turned to the shooter for some reason. I don't know why. And horrible turnover there. Oh, what a feed. And, an unfortunate miss for Devin Diablo. And here we go. Troy Bolt. And that goes in. Troy Bolt, a tough customer at the rim. Now, Coach, I gotta ask you a question about these two teams. If you were to have to play against one of them, because, oh my goodness, hang on, I have to wait for that question. What a play by Rich Elias. Let's look at this again real quick. Jeez Louise. And that's an unfortunate foul on J.J. Woods. Wholesale changes for Louisville. So I think Zeus Massier and Zayden Williamson are in now as the bigs. very small lineup for Louisville, but it works. And for Iowa, you got Patrick Starr and Emmanuel Dotson filling in for Woods and Troy Bolt, and that's a backcourt violation.
Backcourt. Wow.
It's not gonna come easy for Iowa. It's just not. And Louisville's off to a smoking hot start. But yes, I did have a question for you about these two teams. Listen, you haven't played any of them yet. JB Avery nearly backcourt violation there. Good grief. If you had to take one player from each team for Iowa, what a rejection. If you had to take one player from each team for your squad, kind of a weird question, but who would it be?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think for Iowa, I would probably, the easy answer is Troy Bolt, but I think it's the right answer. I think he and Jordan Smith in the front court would be virtually unstoppable. Jordan Smith's an All-American, reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, and pairing him up with Troy Bolt would be pretty cool to see. So
it definitely would, and we have a tie game on our hands all of a sudden. But okay, so that's from Iowa. You take Troy Bolt. I think that is the only answer, especially for considering the battle between him and Cooper Taylor. But from Louisville, as Mediger, I think, just picked up his second, so he's got to go sit. Let's see. Yep, he's coming off for Woods and Troy Bolt. But from Louisville, JB Avery, Katie Mediger, so many talented guys. Who would you take?
Well, they're all talented. They're all very good, but I think for this team and this year, I think I would have to take Cooper Taylor. I think center and having a true big man in the paint is the one thing that we lacked this season. So I think for both teams, I would take their center, and I think they would pair nicely with the rest of our roster in this hypothetical situation.
It's a very decent. It's a very decent take on it, and actually a very respectable one. I mean, listen, big man depth never hurts, so I agree. But man, this back and forth affair just continues to excite, and that's a turnover. J.J. Woods all alone. Bam. Nearly got chased down though by Riley Vixer. That was close. But Iowa has the lead again. Avery to the cup, draws the foul. Now that's Troy Bolt's second, and Iowa is, well, they got to bring somebody back out. I think who's gonna fill in? Well, they're gonna bring in Tanner Young, and Henry Washington will take a break now. Fouls galore. The refs have not cooled down their whistles, have they? First one goes for JB Avery. Listen, JB Avery, you don't want to send this guy to free throw. You just don't. He nearly by himself led Louisville to an insane comeback versus Michigan in the last round. Although, wow, that's the first miss in a long time for JB Avery. But
Commentator's jinx.
Yeah, a bit of an announcer's jinx, as Emmanuel Dotson gets his first points, and Iowa up by 3. With a little over 5 minutes to go. Timeout Louisville for some reason. I guess it's a 10-3 run. No, not a 10-3. Yeah, maybe 10-3 run. And Coach Deuce will huddle up with his team. Well, let's take a look at these other matchups real quick that we have today. Because following this one, we have an ACC battle. So regardless of what happens here, we will see at least one ACC team in the Final Four. We have Florida State versus Duke right after this game. I'm excited for this one because Florida State seems to have peaked at the right time. This is the best basketball that they're playing all year. And you have Duke, who has been completely dominant as well. They've avenged their demons by knocking off Oklahoma. I mean, this is as interesting of a battle as you're going to get in terms of teams playing each other from the same conference. Bit of a bad look from 3 for, I believe that was Marcus Rhodes. Here we go, Iowa running, and what was that? What was that? Rhodes draws the foul, and he has a chance to tie the game again. And that's a foul on J.J. Woods. So many Iowa Hawkeyes are in foul trouble. And Emmanuel Dotson has to finish the half for J.J. Iowa's depth being mightily tested here. Mightily. The only starter right now, Henry Washington, who's out on the floor. But look at this Louisville defense. Although, no, they didn't do it to Patrick Starr there for some reason. Dotson, oh my. Oh. Caden Mediger said, get that mess out of here. Fixer. Mediger. Rhodes. Feed. And he stepped out of bounds. Somehow that stays with Louisville. Although ball don't lie. Iowa gets it back. And here's Diente. Let's see what this Iowa team is made of, especially this bench of theirs. Starr, feed, Dotson, rejected. Although that is not kept in by Iowa, so that'll be Louisville ball. And this is our first real look at guys like Tanner Young, who, especially early on, he was this really highly touted recruit. He chose Texas Tech. He didn't play much at all. He actually chose to redshirt, if I'm not mistaken, and then he transferred. Louisville takes the lead back on a 3 by Riley Vixer. And this Iowa team just continues to have to try and get through this trapping-minded defense. Washington weaves through, though. Diente jumper, got it. But as I was saying, Tanner Young just hasn't lived up to his ranking yet, although he's a talented guy. And alley-oop goes for Louisville. These Cardinals, my goodness, they're so tough to play against. Washington will get it over. Diente. See, will he try something? Try some post moves. Jumper. No. Well, with 3 minutes left. With 3 minutes left, excuse me. What's your biggest? Oh my. Jeez Louise, JB Avery. This is Louisville's biggest lead of the game at 5. Or actually, no, excuse me, it was at 6. I keep wanting to ask a question, but these teams move so quickly. Mediger gets it to go. Or excuse me, Diente does. I am messing up everything so badly right now. But Diente gets the and 1, has a chance at a 3-point play. But my question is to you, with Diente hopefully getting this 3rd point here, what's your biggest takeaway so far?
I think fouls and the free throw disparity. Louisville's doing their job. They need Iowa's a very deep team. They have a lot of guys they can play and probably would start in on other schools. But you still want the backups to play over the starters any day, and they're doing a good job getting the starters in foul trouble.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Although there, turnovers on both ends. I wanted to just absolutely scream when that one block happened and another turnover. Patrick Starr's just got to take that one to the rim. What are they doing? Messy basketball abound. 2 minutes to go. Rhodes at the NCAA logo drops it off to Vixer. JB Avery, corner 3 does not go, and Dotson gets it. Boardman gets paid. Over to Diente. Feed. Starr with the slam. Tie game again. Fellas, whoever's watching, get your boys on the stream. We got an exciting one here in Houston. Avery, jumper. No, missed. Iowa can take the lead yet again here. Feed. Star. Caden Mediger says, hasta la vista. Get that out of my face. Oh, man. I got a text to respond to real quick. One sec. All right, there we go. So, tie game at 40. Oh, what a feed. Tanner Young flips it up, and that's a miss. I don't know why he turned his back to the basket there. He was right there. Just lay it up. And Louisville can get this lead right back because of that. Feed, Mediger, corner, shot, missed. Rebounded by Dotson. And here comes Iowa. Dotson, feed, Henry Washington with the slam. He said white boys can jump too. And Iowa has a 2-point lead now. Louisville hasn't had a bucket in over a couple minutes now. Although that might end here. Elias flips it up. Tie game again. Clock is ticking. These teams move so quickly. Louisville, usually a slower-paced team, but they have answered the bell when it comes to matching Iowa's pace. And here we go. Shot clock is off, and Louisville can take the lead right back. Avery, waiting for his offense to figure itself out. Elias, jumper, does not go. Iowa has some time to get a bucket here. Diente. He's going to wait for his offense to set up. He's going to drive. He's going to sit. 3 ball. Got it!
Ooh.
45-42 Iowa. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting there.
That's a huge shot into the half, especially in a close game like this. I think we'll be looking back on that shot that might be the decider right there.
What a half for both teams. This has been some fun basketball to watch. You have two completely different styles of play, and they have matched each other so far. Louisville shooting 50% from the field is nuts. Iowa shooting over 60%. That's even more ridiculous to me. But with that said, so many of Iowa's starters are in foul trouble. Louisville, not really. J.B. Avery soaring and flying to start us off in the second half. He's got bunnies. And I think that is a reach and foul called on Rhodes, I believe. Jeez. Avery can get up. My goodness. He's a sophomore, by the way. He's only a sophomore. Here we go. Iowa. J.J. Woods. We haven't seen so many of you guys in a little bit. What a feat to Henry Washington. Great stuff by J.J. Woods to his backcourt partner. Now, keys to the second half, or just one key for both teams. What would it be?
I think Louisville needs to keep the defensive pressure. I think that has created some easy offense for them, and Iowa needs to stay out of foul trouble. I think you don't ever want to give up easy shots, but I mean, if it saves a foul, sometimes those shots just let them go in and live to fight another shot.
I agree with both of your assessments right there. Absolutely. And Iowa just needs to find a way to stay out of foul trouble as a whole. It's not just individual players. Everybody's been struggling. Bolt from 3. Troy Bolt has been going absolutely crazy. Oh my goodness. He's literally LSL's Luka Garza. He's literally that guy. Rhodes to Bixer, turnaround J, no, rebounded by Mediger. And here come the Hawkeyes with their biggest lead of the game. Washington, and what in the world? Listen, as good as Iowa is, as great as they are, They need to work on their alley-oops more. Vixer, Taylor, jumper, no. And he wanted that foul call bad. Did you see how he flopped right there?
Yeah, he sold that well.
Actually, he did not sell that well enough. No whistle, but
Yeah.
Bill gets the ball back from another Iowa turnover. Avery trying to work in, feeds it, another turnover. To Bolt and draws the foul on Cooper Taylor. That's Cooper's third. And Troy Bolt with already a pretty big game. 14 points on 6 for 7 shooting is outrageous. And he can make it 16 with these free throws. 15. I mean, this guy. If only he averaged closer to 30 points, he'd probably win the Wooden. But just because you had guys like Quizish and Laza themselves average closer to 30 than him, I think the Wooden award voting members, whatnot, they're just like, listen, Troy Bolt's great, but in terms of most valuable player, not there. Woods draws the foul on Riley Vixer. More free throws coming for the Hawkeyes, and they can stretch this to double digits. Now look at who's starting to get into more foul trouble. The tables have turned. First free throw for JJ will go. This Iowa team. Let's remember, folks, they're 36-0. 36-0. Just keep that in mind. They're on an 11-2 run. I would not be surprised if Louisville calls a timeout once they get over half court. Oh, but they don't. They'll keep playing. Avery. And very interesting pass there. I guess it works. It results in points for Louisville. And here comes the cardiac cards trapping again. Oh my goodness, that nearly worked. Wow. DeMarcus, 3-ball, got it. That's the thing. If you can't get Iowa to turn the ball over, they're going to make you pay. They're just so dominant and so consistent. It's just unbelievable. Avery, another slam. JB Avery is putting this team on his back. More pressure from Louisville. DeMarcus. And there you go. A turnover, backcourt violation. He didn't need to do all that. Happy feet stepping. I mean, listen. Yes, Iowa has stretched this lead out pretty well. But, I mean, considering this is the start to the Elite Eight, has this at all fulfilled or reached your expectation level at all?
It has to have. These two teams are playing well, and even, Iowa's starting to stretch it out a bit, but Louisville's still responding, and that's what you want from an Elite Eight matchup.
Oh my goodness, JJ Woods gets it to go, and he draws the foul. A 3-point play coming up for the junior. That's a big foul on Caden Mediger, too. So all of a sudden, like I said, the tables have turned in terms of the foul disparity. I think it's more level now. And you can just see it. It reflects in the score line, too, considering how well Iowa's shooting it. And Louisville's not shooting it badly, by the way. They're not. They've done very well. I mean, look at that. Oh, my goodness. They're finding a way to stay in the game, these Cardinals. But it's not easy. Woods, they got to get this ball over, and they don't. Another backcourt violation, or not a backcourt violation. Excuse me. It's a 10-second violation on Iowa, and another take to the rim. It's not over until it's over. Another turnover. Avery gets it. No, he does not. but the foul is drawn and he's headed to the free throw line. And all of a sudden, this could be 6 super fast points for Louisville. I mean super fast. Avery has been having himself a ball game too. Despite one missed free throw, he's been stellar, as always. He's a sophomore. He plays like a senior. And there we go. It's a 4-point game. And look at that. It's the score line from the last time they met in the Elite Eight, funny enough. But look at that. 11 minutes to play still. It's ridiculous. Woods. Waiting for somebody to get open. Flips it. Bolt. Jumper. No. Spins around but does not go down. And J.B. Avery, the board man this time around. Cooper Taylor to Vixer. Vixer. Avery. Jumper. No. Rebounded by Henry Washington and feeds it to J.J. Woods. Whew. Gosh, these teams play so quickly. Madiger. Jumper. Bounces in. Oh my. Let me just remind you, the winner of this game will play whoever makes it out of the bout between 2-seed Michigan and 1-seed Alabama. Taylor. Madiger. Madiger jumper. No. Troy Bolt rebounds, and here we go. JJ. Over to Madiger. Madiger. 3-ball. And no. Rebounded by Henry Washington, though. And no, he couldn't get it on the second attempt. And the quest to find their way back in the lead is still alive for Louisville, as that shot does not go in. All of a sudden, these teams have gone just a little bit cold. Just a little bit. We know how fast they can heat up, though. Washington. Jumper. Absolutely swatted. Woods gets it back, though, and he sinks it. It's just tough having to cover every single Iowa Hawkeye. It really is. Jumper. 3-ball. Got it. Rally. Vixer. It's only a 5-point lead. Turnover. And Avery gets to the line again. And that's Bolt's 3rd foul. It's safe to say that this Louisville defense, especially after getting the bucket, has been really keeping them in the game. And now Avery stepping up and get the first one. Tense moments for everybody. Every single second counts in this game. He's 2 for 2 again, J.B. Avery. How calm and collected he has always been for this Louisville team. Washington's going to get bottled up over the Bolt, and they will survive the defense this time. Although that's called. Why am I stuttering here? That's a charge on Troy Bolt. That's his 4th. He's got to come out of the game. Listen, his first 3 fouls, it happens. You cannot let that happen. You just can't. Near turnover. Diablo. Madiger. 2. No. Rebounded by J.J. Woods. Here come the Hawkeyes. Madiger. He's got Patrick Starr. Patrick Starr. 3-ball. No. Rebounded by J.B. Avery. Louisville looking to capitalize. Madiger, jumper, got it. It's a 1-point lead only for Iowa. They were up by 10 not too long ago. DeMarcus, pressure, he'll get past. Feeds, DeMarcus draws the foul. He gets it to go and the foul. I gotta say this real quick. That whistle has been going off so much this game. Sometimes it feels like too much. The Marcus free throw, and he missed. Oh, it's a big miss. In a game like this, you cannot afford to leave any points on the table, especially at the free throw line. What a pass to JB Avery, and he sticks it. And that's another foul, but this time it's a reaching on JB Avery, and it's his first. So Iowa gets away with one there. That could have gone badly. Really could have gone badly there. But I mean, listen, both of these teams have been absolutely cooking. Wholesale changes for Louisville. JB Avery, Mediger, and Cooper Taylor coming off and getting a little rest. This could be big for Iowa, though. Woods, Mediger with the big body slam. Jeez. 2 hands and all. Iowa hits 70. Well, that means nothing in this game. Here's Jackson spinning. Vixer turns it over. It's in the hands of Rocco Mediger again. Washington drives in, passes. DeMarcus, spinner, no. That's Jackson on the board. It's either Aiden or Ash Jackson. I believe it's Aiden. Because I think Ash Jackson is on DePaul. Rich Elias trying to drive in on Patrick Starr, but he's not really letting him. Kicks out to Rhodes. Rhodes flips it. Elias jumper. He got it. 1 point game again. And that trap failed that time. So Henry Washington breaks out. Mediger 3. Splash. Four-point lead for Iowa with 6.5 to go in the game. The first spot in the Final Four and tickets to Houston are on the line. Zayden Williamson missing from 3. Hawkeyes with the ball again. Woods, Mediger, another 3. No, missed it. And look at that baseball pass to Vixer, but he will wait. He's playing the waiting game. And that jumper missed. Oh, 1 sec. If you want to take over commentary real quick, go for it.
Big shot right there. I always brought the lead back up to 6 after Louisville had gotten the lead back down to 1. Louisville really needs a bucket here to stay in this game. Yeah, Iowa needs. If Iowa need that. Oh, that would have brought the house down. He made that. Louisville needs to. If they can consistently keep making their shots, they'll stay within this game. But they've kind of hit a dry spell, and that's a time. Is that a timeout or did he step out?
He stepped out right there. That was actually J.J. Woods somehow could not keep both of his feet in. So Louisville back with the ball. Wholesale changes for Iowa here, but J.B. Avery back on the floor for these Louisville Cardinals. So are Caden Mediger and Cooper Taylor. And Henry Washington finally gets his first rest. Deep 3 missed, but Caden Mediger recollects and draws the foul on Marcus Diente. So Caden Mediger headed to the line. I think he's had kind of a quietish game. Could be his final ride here if his Cardinals do not pull out the win. First free throw goes, though. Caden Mediger, who was actually projected as a top 10 overall pick in the upcoming NBA draft. He's as versatile as it gets for a big man. Him and Troy Bolt. I'd also say Rolando Stewart from Auburn. They really show you what it truly means to be a all-around big man. There we go. And that's going to end up out of bounds, so it'll stay with Iowa. Great game so far from Bolt and Marcus Rhodes. As Troy Bolt is coming back on the floor this early with 4 fouls, that's a risk. I wouldn't do that. And Henry Washington's back out there. Bolt gets the inbound. Here we go. 3 ball. Got it. Emmanuel Dotson. Ice in his veins. 7-point lead for Iowa with under 4.5 to go. Avery to Diablo. Madiger from the corner. Diablo with the shot. Does not get it to go. There we go. Another opportunity to stretch the lead for Iowa. Bolt, jumper. He has been so unbelievably hot. Despite having to sit, for a long stretch of time due to foul trouble. And a Louisville timeout has been called by Coach Deuce. 4 minutes to go. Listen, we've seen Iowa bottle a 14-point lead with 4 minutes. That being last year's national championship game versus OU. So I guess no lead is ever safe with these Hawkeyes, but they are 36-0. But let's say you're Coach Deuce in this situation. What are you telling your team?
Keep up the pressure, and try to end every shot. I mean, if you can end every shot with somebody having to inbound the ball, and that gives you a way to set up your pressure. But I think they need to, if they can start going back to Cooper Taylor and attacking the basket. Really, you try to exploit the fact that Troy Bolt has 4 fouls, and either get him out of the game or get some easy baskets.
Absolutely. And Louisville came up empty-handed after the timeout. Madiger sinks the 2, and Iowa's up by 11. That's their biggest lead of the game. Louisville starting to run out of time. But with that said, with how the pace of this game has gone, there is never an opportunity wasted. Somehow, Madiger got the ball back from that. I think that was a bit of a block on J.B. Avery, I think. And J.J. Woods is bottled up. He avoids it. Diente will get it over. Half court, passes. Madiger, jumper. Rocco Madiger. Take a bow, son. Goodness gracious, he has been clutch the last couple minutes. Taylor, jumper does not go. And now, Madiger, who has stepped up all of a sudden. Bolt, 3 ball, no. Louisville with a little bit of life still. Vixer, he's going to wait for his compadres. Cross, foul, gets it to go in the foul. Rally Vixer. This kid's a freshman. He can draw them a little closer with this free throw. Got it. So here we go. Another failed trap there, though, from Louisville. But that's turned over. Henry Washington with the unforced error. And we are nearing the 2-minute mark. Rhodes, Taylor, jumper, no. Rebounded by Chase DeMarcus. Here comes Iowa. Woods to Bolt, draws the foul, and does not go. Cooper Taylor picks up his 4th.
And that's the 4th.
And now, Troy Bolt has an opportunity to hit 20 points on the day. First one. Got it. 9-point lead now for the Hawkeyes. Second. Got it. 20-point performance by Troy Bolt, despite being in foul trouble for just about the entire game. That's incredible. A trap there. Vixter jumper, got it. And Louisville continuing to fight. We're under 2 minutes to go. And they're trying to force a turnover here. Nothing working though. Mediger. He's looking for a shot here. Get it off. Oh my goodness gracious. I have no words for how clutch this senior has been. Cooper Taylor 3. That's not his shot. A horrible shot choice from the freshman center. And now Iowa can start to close this one out. Woods trying to work in on Riley Vixter to Mediger. Mediger, 3-ball, no way. I was going to say, but rebounded by Troy Bolt and draws a foul on Cooper Taylor. He is out of the game. That's a huge loss for Louisville. And now Troy Bolt can continue to add to his monster day. First free throw, no doubt about it. So, yes, it's not over until it's over, but listen. 90 points now for Iowa. Louisville gave it all they had. There was a truly remarkable performance from these Cardinals. But it's just not going to be enough. Mediger jumper sinks it. So we'll see what they do. Do they foul here? They will. As J.B. Avery second. I think with the amount of fouls, that should send Henry Washington to the line. It does. I believe this is a 1-and-1 right here. So Henry Washington hasn't really been a guy that's been called on to score here and to score all the time. But he's their primary assist man, primary playmaker, and he'll get the points when he's called on to do so. And he'll take a break as Iowa's up by 12 now. So probably the last gasp for Louisville right here with this timeout. So, think we're pretty close to saying congrats to Iowa for making it back to the Final Four. I just don't see how they squander a 12-point lead with under a minute. But just to look back on this Louisville team and the success that they've had this season, they made it to the ACC championship game, gave Duke a good battle. But ultimately, Duke has just had too magical of a season to let up an ACC outright title. And now we're looking at the end of the road for Caden Mediger and Marcus Rhodes. But also some key contributors off the bench for Louisville are also going to depart for some sort of professional basketball. Not sure where. But Caden Mediger and Marcus Rhodes especially are definitely going to the NBA. But it'll be really interesting to see the makeup of this Louisville team next season. Especially if Coach Deuce, if as rumored, does not return. And it just reminds me, the ACC could really be wide open next year. It really could. Because just think about it. Teeter to Miami. Then you have McQueen developing Wake Forest into what it could be, into what many people think it can become. I mean, not to mention North Carolina. That's going to be a very, very sought-after position, as LeVar Spencer is going to try and ice this game for Iowa. First free throw will go. But yeah, just to look at everything, from a perspective, the ACC with so much talent there, but also so much talent leaving and could leave as well, considering the transfer portal. Who do you see winning the ACC next season?
I think the easy answer is Duke. Um, I don't know exactly who they have leaving and returning, but I mean they were clear and away the best team in the ACC this year. They have the best season, so I think that's the easy answer. But I think there are teams that give them a run for their money. I think Miami and Wake Forest are building something. I think they're a year or two away from being able to fully compete against the likes of Duke and Louisville, but we'll see.
Absolutely, and yeah, things can get super interesting. I mean, not to mention you still have teams like Virginia that are still going to look pretty solid and will do their thing and you know be up there, as a tournament team. We're obviously hoping we see Miami back in the tournament, and it really could be a giant year for the ACC. It really could. And as this Iowa team dribbles out the clock on Louisville's season, the first ticket to Houston is punched. Iowa's back in the Final Four again. And it's an unfortunate ending for Louisville, who again sees their deep March Madness run end at the hands of the Hawkeyes. But what a game for Iowa. I mean, listen, to put up almost 100 points on that Louisville defense is insane. Oh, by the way, that region layout is not correct. It will be fixed for the Final Four. Do not worry. But I guess before we end this stream, with Michigan and Alabama being who Iowa sees in the next round, should we expect Iowa to see as ferocious of a defense as they saw tonight?
I mean, I don't think so. I think Michigan and Alabama made their runs for their more offensive teams, so we'll see an even more high-powered offensive game later today with Michigan and Alabama, and then whoever facing Iowa. But I don't see either one of those teams doing well. I mean, we say Louisville had a really good defensive game, and they still let up 100, so almost 100. So that
Exactly.
just goes to show you how good Iowa is.
37-0 now, that team, by the way. 37-0. With that said, we will be stepping aside for about half an hour as I have some lunch to go eat. And I mean, well, it's going to be a very interesting game between two ACC rivals, Florida State and Duke. Stay tuned for that one. Thank you, Coach Smith, for helping with commentary for this one. I hope we can have you back for this unreal ACC matchup that we'll have to decide the second ticket for the Final Four. See you all soon, and stay tuned.